All right, great. Welcome everybody. Hope you guys hope everybody's having a great week. Staying cool, staying hydrated. Staying cool is an impossible job, but good luck with that. So anyway, I wanted to today. I got the topic I want to talk about today is Facebook. You know, it's with the algorithm change. Facebook has obviously it's made it more difficult to build a organic reach, and the goal with Facebook is obviously is pay to play. So that's really why the change that they made a couple of years ago, year and a half or so ago, really came about, because that was the whole point. We need to make sure that everybody is having to pay if they want to they want to utilize Facebook. Well, there's still ways around that for your business page. It just takes a little bit more concentration, a little more direct approach the way you want to create your content. And so that's really what I want to talk about today, is creating content in your for your Facebook page that gives you a better chance of being found, being seen, and being engaged with. So let me go ahead and start my screen, and we will get rolling here. Okay. So what we're really going to talk about is creating content for local businesses. That's what we all are. Everyone, all of my audience is really local businesses, and so we're all looking for ways that we can expand our reach, that we can be more effective, and generate more leads, use customer service, all of those things that we're trying to do. So that's really what we're trying to achieve here. Social media use, it's more important. What you post is more important than how often you post. When we think that, we get in the mindset that we need to post more. We got to post something. Okay, so my business marketing plan says I need to post something to Facebook, so let me just throw something out there. And that's kind of the way a lot of us do it, is we just, we throw it against the wall and hope something sticks. Well, that's really not the most effective way to do that, because we really need to do a little planning. And our post content is often an afterthought. So it's kind of like, okay, I know I'm set to post something on Thursday at noon. So, what am I going to do? Does your content match your performance goals? What are you trying to achieve? What is the purpose for your social media post, your Facebook post specifically? And so that's really what we want to talk about. And I want to give you a little plan that you can utilize to help you generate those ideas, that thought content that you need to use. And it starts really with knowing your customer. And, if I sound like a broken record, it's only because everything starts with knowing your customer. It starts with understanding your business personality and who you are. What are the things that you want to portray? It starts with, what does your ideal customer and our client really care about? So we understand their needs and their wants, and having that is an important component. It's easy to encourage our existing customers. And we know that we want to, we know the old adage about, it's a lot less expensive to keep an existing customer than it is to acquire a new one. So we all understand that. And those are often the easiest ones to be able to work with. But by the same token, having that, having the right the right mix of content that will help you also reach out to that new category of customer, the person that maybe doesn't know who you are, or might casually have heard of you, but has not yet come into the stable of an existing client or customer. So we want to create content that grows the brand and that grows new customers. So here's an idea for you. So you start by listing 10 to 15 core general characteristics that apply to your business. And I'm going to give you a little graph here in a minute to show you an illustration of that after I sort of go through it, and then I'll give you a graphic depiction of what mine looks like. But 10 to 15 core general characteristics that apply to your business. So for me, it's like website design, social media, it's video, it's email marketing, it's it's marketing concepts, it's it's website design. So I have all of the core ideas that I know that I want to cover, and those can include, things that may cross over. So for example, an adjacent category that might tie in. So for me, while I may not be doing like direct marketing for direct mail marketing, for example, but that's a component that I might tie into some of my categories, especially with email or marketing or something along that lines, because then I can, again, it just reinforces the idea that of my services and what I offer, that I can outsource or, direct that to an expert that does that type of thing. So keep in mind, not only the main categories, because again, if you can introduce your audience through an adjacent category or one that's not in your core, your general core categories, but they still demonstrate your expertise, it boosts you up in that recognizable area. Next, you want to develop 3 to 5 subcategories for each. So now we take, okay, in my case, for example, I'll take social media. So then my subcategories can be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, maybe Pinterest, maybe TikTok. I'm not going to be talking a lot about that, but it's coming on and it's becoming a fast growing category. So, so you define the subcategories for each. Now you're beginning to narrow down the niche and see what you have as far as content goes. Identify specific topics that then go with each of those. So if I'm talking about Facebook, and I can talk about specific topics as far as business pages, or as far as messenger bot, or as far as autoresponders, or different topics there. I can also utilize the questions that I'm being asked, and those always lead me to a lot of my webinars. A lot of my content comes from questions that people ask me all the time. But then there's also the questions that people don't know to ask. It's always fun for me when I do a kind of a consultation with a realtor, for example, and I've done dozens and dozens of them, and I always analyze their Facebook page. And I can honestly tell you that I have not found a single one that didn't make a mistake with their employment. And it's a simple thing, but they always list, they have a business page, but they always list their employment as the brokerage. I work at Tierra Antigua, I work at Long, I work at whatever. And so if somebody were to see their personal profile and click on that works at, it takes them to the company page, not theirs. And so they don't know that they don't know they should have asked that. They also don't know in that particular case, and I use that because like I said, I do a lot of them. They don't know that they have generic questions that are automatically set up from an autoresponder in their business page, and that don't really apply to them or don't really sound appropriate to their business. So things they don't know are as important as what they do. Actually, more important. And then you want to brainstorm 3 to 5 topics for each subcategory. So if we think about this, so if we do the math, if you got 10 to 15 core categories, you've got 3 topics under each, and then you brainstorm 3 topics under each of those subcategories. Now you've just generated potential content, what, 90 pieces? 30 times 3. Yeah. So you got, if we do 10 times and we just do 3 subcategories for each, that's 30. And then we do 3 to 5 for each one of those. That's 90 to 150 pieces of content. It's 3 years. I mean, if you posted twice a week, that's a year worth of content. So keep that in mind as a category. So let me pull mine up, or let me show you what this is one that I created. I just, probably a little hard to see, but I'll sort of go over it. So you'll see the major categories. You'll see website design, and then I just did 3 under each. So I did SEO, web platforms, and hosting. And then each of those has, so under SEO, I have local marketing, I have on-page SEO, and I have links. And then design, I have WordPress, drag and drop sites, and mobile responsive. And then I have hosting and SSL security. So I've got, so I did that for each one of these. So now I have just a basic graph, and I think this only has 6 on it. It's just because of the format. I probably have 3 more I'll add, at least 3 more that I'll add. But I wanted to give you kind of an idea. So you'll see each one is broken down with topic, and then subtopic or subcategory, and then specific categories under that. And then I can go from there. So let's say I take the social media marketing section, and then I have the subcategory of LinkedIn. And then I have profiles and lead generation and company pages under that. Well, I can do multiple topics on the profile. I can do mistakes people are making with their profile. I can do, how do you optimize your profile? I can do, I can talk about using your profile for lead generation and a crossover between categories. I can talk about multiple topics there. So that now I'm creating a source for, what do I say? Because that's the hardest thing we all run into. It's like, okay, I got to post something. What am I going to post? And then you think about it and think about it. Now you've wasted 30, 45 minutes, an hour, and you haven't done anything. So having that content plan is an important way to set up and structure what you're going to do. And then if you want to take that a step further, then you take those topics and you plan out the next 2 or 3 months, 6 months, whatever it might be. So you have that now on a content plan that says, okay, so next week I'm going to be posting 3 days a week. And on day 1, I'm going to talk about video platforms and the difference between YouTube and Vimeo. And then I'll say that's on Monday. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about frequently asked questions for your website, and how do you integrate those, and how do you find those questions. And then on Friday, if that's what I'm doing, then I'm going to talk about automation for my email responses, and how do I schedule email responses, and how do I use an autoresponder. What are 5 things you can do with an autoresponder? So with that, you create a plan, and you can do, if you want to start with 1 or 2 a week, and we'll talk about frequency in a few minutes. But the biggest goal here, the biggest takeaway is be consistent. Create a plan and be consistent with it, because it's the hit and miss that does us no good. If we post 5 things next week and don't post again for another month, then then it doesn't do you any good. Pam, this is a Canva. This was a stock Canva template. I pulled it up out of I just did Canva, and I did flowchart, or I think I did a flowchart or a mind map, one of the two. And this was one that was built. I literally built this in about 15 minutes. So look at Canva. It's a cool little option there. So getting qualified leads. Start with who's consuming your content. So you want to start by knowing who is, who's seeing your post. And you can do that by, once you create, when you create content, you'll see if people have liked it or shared it. Then you can click over the, the like button, the share button, and it'll tell you who's looked at your content, who is engaged with your content. If they've just seen it, you don't have any analytics there. You do have analytics. Let me backtrack. You do, but you don't have names. But if you see somebody that has liked it, that has shared it, or that has commented, then you have those names, and that's a good place to start, because now you can invite them to like your page, maybe to see first, so that they'll see your content. Not every topic appeals to everybody. Remember, you have people in your funnel at different levels. They may come to you, never seen anything that you've done, and stumbled across something and thought, wow, this is really cool. That was interesting. Okay. And the other side of it may be, the folks, that's the people that are devoted followers that consume everything you put out there and engage and all that. But you don't know. So you need to create content. If you make assumptions that people understand everything about your business, then you're missing out, because there are going to be people that don't. Again, people have different levels of knowledge, of expertise, of commitment to you. So, you have to earn that trust. And that's why a lot of times in the webinars that I do, sometimes they'll be repetitive. Some of them will be simplistic in certain facets of, setting up. And it's like, oh, well, I know that. Yeah, I know that. But so, keep in mind, I try to appeal to a broad mix, not knowing where people are in in their engagement with me. It was a really difficult thing back. Pam remembers the days of the Tucson Social Media Lab, and when we were trying to do specific trainings on different topics: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of the major topics. And yet we had people at varying levels. So it was like, how do I present to somebody that goes, what's a click, as opposed to somebody that goes, how do I find, what's the strategy for creating this post? So, so it was a really interesting dynamic, trying to figure that out and how to work with those and not bore the folks that were there. But you can do that by, once again, if you go back to your chart and back to your plan. So you think that maybe incorporating into that plan maybe is a advanced, beginner, beginner, intermediate, advanced type of a checkbox in there. So maybe that not only do you vary your topic, and I didn't really mention that, but I kind of alluded to the idea that you want to vary that topic so that you're not talking. In my case, I wouldn't talk Facebook every post for a week or two. But instead, I want to mix it up, because if you're not interested in the topic I'm talking about, I can easily lose you. But if I cover a variety of topics, so if I talk Facebook one day, if I talk video one day, if I talk website one day, if I talk SEO, I want to try to work my way through all of my core categories with some regularity, so that I'm not spending all my time on one. I can cover everybody. So that's really what you're trying to do as well. So maybe you have content that is geared to a beginner, and then the next day you have more advanced content. So keep those in mind. Larry, that'd be a good example for you in the case of, you're going to have people that have no idea about really investing, and then you're going to have others that are seasoned investors, and there's all people in all realms of that topic. So you want to make sure you're not eliminating anyone by your content you're creating. Pay attention to triggers when someone first becomes aware that they need you. Okay, so that's going to be a trigger, is going to be an action that they take. It's going to be a like, a click, a website visit. It may be a question, it may be a comment that they make. It's some engagement that lets you know that there was some interest. It could be watching an entire video that you do, or a longer portion of a video that you do, or it could be clicking on a blog article. So keep those, those things in mind, because that's really those are the people you really want to try to focus, because when they are at their highest interest level, that's when you really want to start building your relationship with them. And what better point than they've just taken action, they've just done something that indicated they had at least a level of interest in what you do. That's the point you want to start building relationships. You also want to ask questions. Why did you engage with us? If you have the opportunity, either through a post or through a phone call or a personal visit, or whatever it might be, an email, you also want to ask them why did they engage with you? How did you find us? What was what triggered you to watch my my webinar, or to read my blog, or to pick up the phone and call? Those questions and engagement are really a key component to helping you, again, get those leads qualified, find out that the content that you're creating that's generating the most engagement, the most interaction, and that's really what you want to focus on. Cross-pollinating between pages and profiles. One of the what I always tell people to do is, because we know that there is about a 6% or less engagement in business pages. You want to post your business page, because that's what you're trying to promote. And if you're promoting and posting to your business page, then you're building that exposure. But what if nobody sees it? So what I always recommend is you start by posting to your business page, and then you share your post from your business page to your personal page. Now what you've done is you've said that, Gary Wagnon has shared a post from 800 Biz Ninja Marketing. I didn't create it, so I'm not getting into that realm of business on a personal page that Facebook doesn't like, and that will aggravate your friends as well. So, but by doing this, I'm announcing there's something out there, but I'm also but it's just something that I shared from my interest. So it sort of gets us away from that. But I always get the question, speaking of questions that people ask, they go, well, how do I do that? I can't share from my personal, I can't share from my business page to my personal. It won't let me. And this is a post I did just the other day. And so if I try to share it, if I look down here in the very bottom corner, you'll see that it's got the little green ninja marketing business, my logo there, or my, the icon that shows it's the business side of things. So if I try to share, it's only going to let me share this on my page. It's not going to let me go personal. And it frustrates people, and they go, oh, I can't do it. Why doesn't it give me that? Well, here's why. What you do is you click that down arrow right beside the icon there, the down arrow, and then it pops up you personally or any other page that you manage. Now I switched that to posting as me, and now I can post that to my page. I can post it to my personal profile. I can post it to my to a group that I manage. I can post it to another page. I can send it in a messenger. So I have all the options that I have when I click the share button. So that's the trick on how do you share from your business page post to your personal. And you guys may already know that, but like I said, I hear it all the time, and people spend hours, just get frustrated trying to do that. So there's a quick little tip on how to do that. What makes you special? Well, that's really what we're trying to do. Is we really want to focus on what our business is, how we're different, the things that we offer, what we can do. And so we're really trying to tout our expertise, but you don't come out and say, "Hey, I'm the best in town. You guys got to talk to me." That's bragging. So we want to create that through our content. We want to create content that demonstrates our expertise, not just lets us shout it. So here's a few tips on posting. Make sure you've got a solid visual in your post. Post with pictures are going to be far better than just text only. The engagement rate is far higher. And you can get those from Canva. You can find, again, you can use Canva, or you can use some of the software, or some of the stock photo sharing sites. But get a good visual. I don't post anything in my especially a blog that doesn't have a visual in there. Don't be too formal. Again, keep it light, keep it personable, keep it short and snappy. Ask pertinent questions. Nothing starts a conversation than a good question. So you want to make sure you post a good, pertinent question as a conversation starter. Be human. People love to deal with the personality side of things. So make sure you're talking as a human, not business related. None of us have 100,000 followers and have to, and have persona that's not an individual. You also want to have a clear call to action. But by call to action, I don't mean, like my post, share my post. That's engagement baiting. And Facebook doesn't like that. They want the content to be organic and natural. So you want to come up with ways to get them to take action, but not you asking them to, to like my page or something like that. In this particular case, maybe in mine, for example, I did this recent blog article. I shared the blog article with a snippet of what it was about, with the idea of, if you want to read it, you can click and read the whole article at. I do that with the Facebook Lives when I do these webinars. I'll say, be sure and check out the webinar for more details. I can do snippets of a video and share it. So the idea is to get them to take some kind of action, preferably offline. If you can get them into an email over to your website and get them into an offline situation, you're far, far light ahead. Test the time to post. Off hours posts often have a higher chance of showing up in the news feed. I know there's been all kinds of studies about post times, and it's usually, a lot of people say midday is a good time, but that's when everybody's there. So maybe a better idea is posting before 6:30 in the morning, after 8:30 in the evening. You've got less traffic, but there's less confusion. So you stand a chance of not getting lost. But you want to test that out, because you want to make sure you're doing what's appropriate, and see if you post, do a post and post it early in the morning, and then a couple of days later, you post something midday, similar type of post. Check your analytics, your insights, and see which one gets the most engagement. Transparent posts. People love to know what's going on behind the scenes. They want that insight into your personality. So be transparent. Don't have a persona on your Facebook page that's something different than you. That sound familiar? We've talked about that with other topics as well. You want to respond to comments, and I can't express that enough, but any comment should be replied to. That is, you wouldn't ignore somebody that said something, a compliment to your face. You wouldn't just ignore that. Why would you do it on your Facebook page? Be genuine, funny, inspiring, heartwarming. Again, just personable. It's that personality that we got to let show through. No engagement baiting. We've already talked about that. And keep fresh content regular. keep that content flowing on a regular basis. It's the consistency that works out a whole lot more. I added this here again. I did this with and it's actually more effective with Instagram, but it is still a powerful tool, and that is cross promoting with local businesses. So if you recognize other businesses in your post, so if I were to do a review of a business, or talk about something and link to a business and that's I also know or comfortable working with, then that increases my exposure and their exposure. So you just simply tag them in your post with the @ and the business name tagged. Um, Testimonials for other businesses are awesome. Um, Promoting local charity events and causes. People love businesses that are giving and that are community minded. So you utilize that as an opportunity. Restaurants, coffee shops, those are all places that you can potentially increase your exposure by sharing their content, because people will see, the restaurant may see that you've tagged them, share your post, and now other people see your business. So you share it from the business, not the personal side. Use your local network. So those of us that are in networking groups, or any kind of group that you're in, utilize that network to showcase each other's businesses and help to grow your exposure there. Videos on Facebook specifically. Original videos rank higher. So that is a video that you create and not something that's shared, not somebody else's video that you found and reposted. This is your original content. It's going to rank higher. Facebook is going to give it a higher quality credibility score, if you will. Videos longer than 3 minutes and then are watched for to the 1 minute mark and beyond are considered higher quality. So getting folks to spend some time on a video, and that tells you, when you're creating videos, that tells you what you need to be doing in the beginning. You need to be setting your hook in the very beginning and teasing it along so that you get people to watch it through the length of the video. Facebook Live averages 6 times more engagement than regular video. So just posting on Facebook is one thing, but Facebook Live is 6 times more engagement. So keep in mind that the value of Facebook Live for you. And then a Facebook Live should average 10 to 15 minutes. That's kind of an average time. The longer, people may not see, they'll know you're live, but they may not see it immediately. So you may get people in during the middle. So you think about at the 7 minute mark or at the 10-minute mark, if there are things that you want to sort of re-emphasize, that's a great place to do that, because again, the people are coming in. And keep in mind, people may watch your live after it's over, so the replay is important. In fact, with my replays, as I do these live, I typically will go in and clean them up a little bit if I have a little lag time in the start, as opposed to if I've got to start the Facebook Live and maybe I have a moment or two of me fiddling around trying to get all the settings going and all that before I launch, I may go in and cut that out. And you can do that directly in Facebook, in their Facebook Creator Studios. So I don't cover that here, but I can tell you how to do that. And I'll probably cover Creator Studio again in the future. Frequency of post. How often do we post? That's always a big question. Don't overwhelm your customers with content. So be selective. Pages with under 10,000 fans experience a 50% drop in engagement per post if they post more than once a day. That's one of the biggest reasons people unfollow a page, is because they say, too many posts, and I got tired of seeing you every 5 minutes every time I turn around. 2 to 3 posts a week is ideal, no more than once a day. So posting a couple of times a week, and there's some interesting studies, and I didn't put the other in because there's a little bit of a conflict in it, A different set of stats said that pages that posted more than 5 times a month uh, actually uh, got more post engagement than people that posted, more than that. So again, there was a little conflict. This stat came from a source that's pretty reputable, HubSpot. So that's why I used their numbers rather than somebody else's speculation that didn't really get me where. So too many updates is the number one reason. And experiment with the time, and we already talked about that. So anybody have any questions? I gave you a lot of ideas. If you're interested in that, I can send you the Canva. I can send you that little Canva content plan that I did. But like I said, you can use a spreadsheet if you want. The biggest thing is come up with something that helps you to organize what you're doing, the content that you're creating, and to keep you on track so that you're posting with a regularity that will get you the most bang for your buck or for your time spent. So as always, if you have any questions, you guys know how to reach me. Here's my contact information, website, and email address, phone number. I am just to the point of really rolling out the announcement for my new program that I'm putting together. And I actually, it's going to be titled roughly right now. The working title is 90-Day Challenge, Novice to Ninja. So it's going to be a 90-day, 12-week course with hands-on. How do you do things with, how do you do specific things? And I've got all the topics sort of outlined. So I'll be putting that together shortly and getting that out to everybody. And once I get that out, if you know others that might be interested, feel free to please share that. I would appreciate that and get the word out. So it'll be an affordable cost, but I want to try to get that rolling through the fall, and hopefully it will help businesses sort of take back control of their marketing efforts, and especially during this time, and we don't know what's going to happen future wise. So I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions after the webinar, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. So have a great one.